Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inventory. I'm your host, Detective Johan. With me today, I have my usual co-host, on time as always. Why don't you say hello?
Hello. I'm on time as always. That's my name.
And I've got two returning guests. I guess we can just go in alphabetical order. Why don't you say who you are and what characters you've made?
Hello, I'm Blue Coin. I made Ayala, Beatrix, Joey, Arendi, Ribbon Girl, who's not around anymore, Spooky, and Zelda.
So it is pronounced Ayala.
Yeah, that's how I say it at least.
You know, well, I think you're the authority on the subject.
Well, I mean, it's an actual name. I just didn't check pronunciation when I looked for it.
We don't check pronunciations around here. No training wheels. We fight God like men.
What he really means is that Johan just fucks up pronunciations and then I make fun of him.
Yeah,
Okay, so for our second guest, why don't you say who you are?
Hi, I'm Pivotal Cog. I'm the guy who made Mia, Palutena, Pit, Mahiru, and Coco.
And with introductions out of the way, let's go over the very, very long list of character changes to the game that have happened.
Also, by the way, this is like episode 25. So, like, next one will be like the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, that's crazy. We gotta do something fun for that.
Yeah. 26 episodes. First one was in late April. 52 weeks, bi-weekly. Works out.
It was back when we were on Podbean.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
with a different set of hosts.
Actually, the first episode to go up on the YouTube channel, I believe, was the first one that had Blue Coin in it.
Huh, kind of bookending it. Well,
Feeling
I guess
blue.
it would be bookending if this were the special episode.
When was that, like October?
I think it was when Zucha's Podbean account went out. Anyway, we've got a lot of changes to the testing tables and the main game since last time, as well as several April Fool's characters, so let's just get going.
Yeah.
To start off, we've got Chun-Li returning to the main game.
It's Chun-Li.
Come on.
There's that pronunciation again.
I've had 2 hours of sleep and a Red Bull in the last
You made that mistake
hours.
last podcast, and I wasn't there to correct you, but I'm here now.
Chun-Li.
Yeah.
Okay. Chun-Li went to the testing tables because of an art update, and then with the new Quick Pass feature, which allows people who have made a character to vote on whether or not they need to go to testing or they can stay or just jump back into the game. And because of that feature, she's already back in the main game. What are your guys' thoughts on Chun-Li's return to the main game?
Now you're just fucking with me.
Yeah, now it's intentional. You can't make fun of me.
I'm happy with the quick pass feature because I gotta be honest, the whole like art reworks requiring testing, like in pretty much every case but one, that's been like everyone's been like, yeah, this is good. It can just go through. Why do we have to write sponsorships for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to get too spicy, but it was literally introduced to stop one guy, and it didn't even do that.
So thoughts on Chun-Li?
You can go first, Scott.
Chun-Li's always been a pretty strong contender for the best Street Fighter girl. And I think she's even more strong than ever. There's not really much to say. She's just overall really well done. And I can't wait for Melai Talk to update her blogs.
And I agree with Cog. Like, she's a really well done character. And this update just made her even better. And I'm glad that she's so well made because Chun-Li always was one of my favorite Street Fighter characters. In general.
Alright. SPNati, what about you?
I remember when she first got on testing like over a year ago, and like her model looked at. Like it was very amateurish, and to see Metal Atar progress into like holy shit, one of the best artists this game has.
Yeah, I think like
It's like,
Chun-Li's first model was just like, wasn't it just like every slider set to 100 or something?
pretty much, and it looked like that.
But now it's like,
And just I mean the way like she's allowed to move because she's a martial artist and stuff, and all like the custom like leg poses he's put together. Like, fuck, I need to figure out how he did that. It looks so good. All of his artwork reworks for all the Street Fighter girls.
first you steal his butts, now you steal his legs. What else can you take from the man?
Next
If
to
you make it, I'm
torso.
gonna steal it. That's what the best artists do: is steal from the best.
To be fair, I steal a lot from SPNanon, so
It's just the train of thievery that goes on in this community. Like,
It's a collaborative working environment.
I know. Chun-Li is really cute.
Chun-Li.
Fucking goddamn it. Chun-Li is really cute.
Where did you get into your head that it's pronounced Chun-Li?
I don't know. Look, man, I never grew
Is
up.
everyone you live with wrong?
Well, I could get spicy, but no. She's really cute. I definitely enjoy her. Not my favorite Street Fighter girl, but still really quality character. And I'm glad to see Metal Atar back and just completely going out swinging with all these updates. Like,
he's hitting fucking home runs in the art department.
yeah, he disappeared for like a couple months. He was just training under a waterfall.
How the fuck do you do those side profiles, dude?
He's just
I don't understand.
Under a waterfall in the middle. I think he's like Mexican, right?
I don't know.
Under a waterfall in the middle of Mexico, just staring at thighs, learning. That's how I imagine it.
God, it makes my art look so shitty. You don't even have like a decently accurate model anymore. There's so many models that make mine look bad now.
Oh, now it's time for my favorite Street Fighter girl. Juri Han has returned to testing.
And it's the same story as Chun-Li. Just balls to the wall, fantastic art.
Cog, Blue, why don't you give your thoughts on that? I'm gonna look and see if she actually got the quick pass yet.
I never really liked Juri from just in canon as like a Street Fighter playable character, so I don't really have that much to say in the way of how much I like her. But again, like same story as Chun-Li, she's definitely well done, and if you like that kind of character, the kind of like mean dominant character, she's definitely great for that.
Oh yeah, I just looked at the policy of this channel. She's got 9 total votes in favor of her passing the quick pass, so there's a chance that she might be in the main game by the time this episode goes up. Cog, what about you? What are your thoughts on Juri?
Basically, everything I said about Chun-Li applies to Juri too. Just overall, really well done, and the art is fantastic. I really like what Metal Atar did with her, and she's just a really strong character now.
I am completely not biased at all, just because I really like Juri's lines towards Rinka, and that's definitely not what made me like her the most. But also, like, yeah, I don't know if I noticed it as much with Chun-Li as I did with Juri, but she's got some custom leg poses too, and they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, like I don't even know how he did that. Whether he like drew parts of it manually or what. Just cut them out.
Under a waterfall, staring at thighs, getting stronger.
It's really getting to a point where anyone who like is basically solely in like vanilla Kisuke like arms and leg poses they're really starting to look bad.
I wouldn't say that. We still got Mouse out here.
Yeah, but he's doing like custom shit too. I mean, like if you just use the leg poses that Kisake gives you,
Oh,
stuff like that. It's so limited.
speaking of Mouse, I can't wait to talk about that. His next project in a bit. Since I'm part of that team, along with somebody else here. But for now, Cammy returns to testing, and thank God.
Yeah, her stupid gimmicks are gone.
So
it's the single biggest improvement.
Absolutely. But what do you two think about her?
I'm a much bigger fan of Cammy now that her gimmicks are gone. Like, I targeted them all the same back when they were still around, but I just find her much more enjoyable now that she's just a vanilla character, for lack of a better term. And that's not to say she's bad. She's just much more of a standard flavor now. And I just think she's much more enjoyable for who she is rather than what she brings to the table.
She is now ice cream, not sprinkles with a little bit of milk on them.
It's a pretty decent analogy. She was kind of just like a distraction before. She's basically completely doing her own thing.
What about you, BK?
And it's just confusing why there were a bunch of women attacking her. And why wouldn't she leave?
I never actually saw her old gimmicks. So I guess it's kind of a good thing I never got around to targeting them, because they're gone now. But yeah, I think.
Well, they still exist offline.
Yeah. Same story as Jury. I never really liked her that much in Street Fighter, but I can definitely recognize this as a well-made character.
Cammy losing that gimmick has been the single greatest rework of a character. She has gone from a character that I actively dislike writing targeted lines for to a character that I am excited to write targeted lines for. Especially
if you're thinking of making a character,
Kamina.
If you're thinking of making a character who they have a gimmick where you'd have to target every single stage, please don't. You're not clever, and you're not the first one to think of that. Nobody wants to deal with that shit. If you put it on like one stage, then it's kind of cool. You'll put it on every stage, okay, it gets old.
There are only so many ways to react to X or Y. All right. Next character to get an update was, I believe, Pit was the first character to have the quick pass happen. He was kind of the testing for it. He got a small.
Did he even go back to testing?
No. That was okay. It wasn't the quick pass. It was a different thing that the creators can vote on, and that's whether or not they need to go back to testing at all. And I believe Pit got an overwhelming 100% vote in favor of no, he does not have to go back to testing. So yeah, Pit got a small art update. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I'll let you go first since I'm his creator and I want to save my thoughts for last.
Okay. I definitely think he looks better. I think it does look a little weird when he raises his arms because of how his sleeves are, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess that there's really no workaround for that. So, all in all, really good.
Banana?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's a minor art update that everyone agreed was a straight improvement. Not much else to say. I don't think you changed his posing or anything too much, right?
Yeah, the only changes I really altered were his masturbation poses, and I don't think it was really that drastic. Like, I had some people I submitted his files to for early review, and they all agreed that they were fine.
You cut out.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that he kind of had. I fully planned for him to go back to testing, but after some rumination with some members of the community, it started to think whether or not he needed to go back to testing at all, and that led to me posting the pseudo quick pass in his channel. And if he had been rejected and made to go back to testing, I totally would have done it. But at that point, I just would have done a quick pass, and the same thing would basically have applied, I think.
Mm-hmm. Except we'd briefly been relieved of him on page 1, where he shall forever remain.
Actually planned to hold off on releasing his update until Marinette got hers to really mess with the front page.
I'm not even sure if that's a 200 IQ play at that point, because you're not doing it to gain anything. You're just doing it for madness.
I told him the mask that I did it fully for the sake of chaos.
All right. The next character to return to testing and then get the quick pass is Misato. Is that right? Is that right? Tell me, is that right? Am I getting the name right? Is it Misato? Misato?
I think generally you... Okay, disclaimer, I don't know shit about Japanese, but I'm pretty sure you generally put the accent on the first syllable. So it'd be Misato.
I thought it was Japanese, all syllables are pronounced the same way. Like, the letter O is always pronounced O.
I said the emphasis. Oh, maybe I said the accent, but I meant the emphasis on the first syllable.
Okay. Misato happened. She got her art update.
And she was quick pass too, I think.
Yep. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think she definitely looked great before, but looks even better now. Like, she's very pretty and very womanly now. She did have this one animated pose that kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting any animation, and it was right at the end of the game where she was clapping, and it just kind of scared me a little bit. But I definitely stand by my previous thought that she's one of the best characters in the game. She definitely deserves to be back on the front page.
Well, she was there for a while. she okay. So Nuki-chan has a line to Maya, who's like, I used to be on the front page and all.
What?
And
Nuki-chan has been updated in the last year?
Yes. And now Misato responds to that by saying, "Yeah, me too."
Now Maya needs to reply saying, "Yeah, me too." That joke is dated.
She would have been, and I literally dunked on myself because Jura just replaced her.
I should have
knocked my own waifu off the testing table, or off the front page.
I should just have responded that smugly, like he's aware he's never gonna leave.
200 IQ plays from SPNati? Question mark.
I don't break character like that, only with the April Fools and stuff. So I just had Maya be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I just sat down and this woman is insane.
Thing with Biz, it's entirely character for him to break the fourth wall.
Well, look at you. I don't have that luxury.
Speaking of responding with April Fool's characters, that is next. And
I gotta target all those.
We got 5 new characters. 5.5 really. El Shaggy Bronco came back, but nothing was really different, so we don't have to talk about him. I guess let's just go in alphabetical order, starting with fucking goddammit, Hex, you put the wrong name on the document. He just put AE86. Part of the joke is that you have to pronounce the entire thing. My April Fool's character was the Toyota Sprinter AE86 Torino GT Apex. The car from Initial D.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I have no fucking clue what this car is from, or what its deal is. I don't know what Initial D is. Is that like Tenacious D?
You know the anime where the people are drifting all over the place to, like, crazy pop
Multi-track
music?
drifting?
Yes. That's Initial D.
Really?
Well, the multi-track drifting is from a parody of Initial D.
Oh.
But, you know those videos of people drifting set to like pop music sung in English languages by sung in the English language by Japanese people? That's
No.
what Initial. Oh, okay. It's an anime where people drift to really good music.
That's it?
That's pretty much the entire plot.
Does the D stand for drift?
Yes.
Alright, I'm on board. Is the car an actual character? Is it like the Knight Rider or whatever?
It is. No, in the Initial D animated series, it's just a car. It doesn't.
Okay.
Oh, there's Cog pushing through Jury to the main game.
Yep.
The car is just a car in the anime.
At least he wasn't a dick and waited until just after.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on the Toyota Sprinter AE86 Toronto GT Apex?
So the gimmick was that all of its items were songs, right?
Yes, all of its layers were different songs from the anime.
I thought it was pretty funny how characters were responding to it with like, "You're Speedy Speed Boy? Okay then."
Yeah.
But it was losing too fast for me to really read much of any of the songs. Like,
yeah.
I'd get like 2 lines and then it would change songs.
Yeah.
What, is it all bad?
Yeah, because it's 8 layers.
Mm-hmm.
There is a joke that the first song and the last song it plays are both called Deja Vu.
Yeah, that did actually kind of make me smile reading Deja Vu again.
I'm glad you liked the jokes. Making an entire car in Kisuke was not like... I could definitely tell this is not what the program's meant. Cog, what were your thoughts?
It's not even meant to make men.
Yeah, I like the deja vu joke. And I think the other thing that made me laugh was how this masturbation sequence was literally just it driving around and how it stayed on after it finished. That made me smile.
I really wish that I could have just implemented a sun into the game as it drove off, so you could have it driving away as the sun sets.
So when are we getting a dual epilogue with a Street Fighter character?
Don't torture the poor car like that.
Actually, I could probably give the car to Metal Guitar to use as just a background prop in any of the Chun-Li's epilogue where she's in the streets. Yeah, it was a fun character to make. I basically wrote all of its dialogue in the span of about 3-4 hours because it was just copying and pasting lyrics. The next April Fool's character was Default Chan.
Desu.
Terry, what are your thoughts on her?
Desu.
Okay, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
If it's been asked. I'm really surprised that we didn't get Sawako or Mio first. I thought it was weird that her opponents kept calling her Default Champ when her name is Yui. But I think that's definitely a bug that'll need fixing later. I was kind of disappointed with the lack of references to Source. Like, she didn't mention Mio or Ritsu at all, or really anyone else. And I think she could have brought Akito with her to cover herself with, you know? But, I don't know.
Desu.
But for real, when someone's going to make Yuri Hirosawa?
I have watched one episode of K-On!
I've watched like half the series and then I stopped because I wanted to learn Japanese so I could understand the songs without reading the subtitles, and then I never got back to it because I never finished learning Japanese.
Cog, what are your thoughts on Default Chan?
She's Well, I don't really know what to say about her. She's just basic, and that's the intention, so there's not really much to go on. Though I kind of understand SPNati is like for a Hago better. Because that kind of threw me for a loop when I saw it.
Yeah, this is definitely a character that was there for a day and is not there anymore.
That's it.
Next character is Kool-Aid Man 2. Rising. Revengeance.
Yeah, if you liked the charming simplicity of the original Kool-Aid Man, I have bad news. He is now composite being of like 10 memes.
A goddamn chimera!
And boy is he going to age poorly.
Well, yeah, of course. If you just leave Kool-Aid sitting outside, it'll age very poorly. It'll get all moldy.
Even El Shaggy Blanco was much funnier a year ago when Dragon Ball Super was still going.
Well,
Just update them each year with the new memes.
Yeah, history repeats itself. We got more Shaggy memes this year.
It's not as funny the second time.
So BK, what were your thoughts on Kool-Aid Man?
I actually didn't play Kool-Aid Man because I didn't realize we had to replay the ones who were brought back.
Yeah.
Are you saying you didn't want to play Kool-Aid Man?
Well, it's more that I didn't know I had to because I didn't know we were going to talk about him.
But
Yeah.
you didn't want to?
It's obvious I didn't want to. I didn't want to play any of them. That's just not my humor.
Oh fuck! You should like put it. You should write a bunch of Joey lines to him and talking about what humor actually is.
That's a good idea. I do actually have her target El Shaggy and completely ignore him the entire game, talking about something else.
She could just get really offended and claim that this is an insult to humor.
Chiaki has a thing where she goes on lecturing Maya about video game history. It'd be interesting to see Joey do something similar with the history of comedy.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. I'll keep that in mind.
Chiaki should target Kool-Aid Man just for the Granddad stage.
I don't actually know what that is.
It's from
Bootleg Mario.
Vine Sauce or something. I just know it from Siva Gunner. Next character is Mr. Fucking Clean.
Yeah.
This is not
Rabid Bagel using his powers for evil.
So what are y'all's thoughts on Mr. Clean?
God, it used to be like there was only Mouse just dunking on all of us and our art, making everyone's models look bad. Now it's a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, now you know how to feel with dialogue.
Oof.
Yeah, but casual players don't care about dialogue. They care about the art.
Bagel has all of this power, and he only uses it. Like, he uses it mostly for evil, and I love it.
Well, apparently he's making like an actual girl.
Yes, but from what I
Soon.
understand, from what Pharos has told me,
and she's crazy and kills people.
She is one of the least popular characters in the show she's from because she kills one of the most popular characters. But that being said, what are y'all's thoughts on Mr. Fucking Clean?
Something about him just felt like he was mocking me. I don't completely understand what it was, but
shit-eating grin.
Yeah,
maybe.
I agree.
His face kind of reminds me of those masks from Point Blank. You know, when they're the bank robbing scene.
I don't watch movies.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't see the movie either. I just know from cultural osmosis.
Johan, not watching movies is not a personality.
I know, but neither is watching movies.
Yeah, but it gives you something else to talk about.
I've been trying.
Not your disgusting weeb shit.
So, Cog, did you have any thoughts on Mr. Clean?
The model is way too good for what it's supposed to be used for. I'll just say that.
I was not ready for his body to be glowing with cleanliness. I feel
He's
like
the one character I definitely expect to be shaved.
Yeah, I agree there. Waxed and glowing.
Mm-hmm. If I were a less proud man, I'd probably just enlist Bagel or whoever to to make all my models for me. Instead, this is what he uses it for.
Would you really have it any other way? He's gotten 3 models into the game so far. Kamina, Mr. Clean, and we'll get to the next one in a bit.
Mm.
But first, let's go over a character that it seems like quite a few people honestly wanted us to keep around. And that is Muffin.
It's because she's a girl.
Yeah, pretty much. Muffin's also known as Derpy Who. What are y'all's thoughts on her?
I'm going to fully admit that I didn't realize she was supposed to be an April Fool's character when I played her. I thought she was an actual addition. I like that she starts off thinking she was invited to a swimsuit party. Like, I feel like that's just a very in-character thing to do for her. And it kind of is a nice little thing to set her apart from other ditzy characters. But I'm actually pretty sad that she's not a real character. I hope her creators actually like update her and put her into the game proper.
I don't know if they said they were going to put her into the game proper, but I believe they mentioned that they'll be at least doing holiday ults for her every once in a while. And it'll just be the same gag, but with different... the gag of her only having 1 layer, but it will be done through different methods. Cog, what are your thoughts on her?
Yeah, I definitely think she's my favorite April Fool's character just because A, she's a girl, and B, she has a fun personality. And she's also, like, bar none, the best epilogue farm character in the game. So, yeah, I like her. She's fun, and I hope to see her again next year.
SPNati, what about you? I've heard you mention that you are not particularly invested in the personalities of the ponies because they're so bright and colorful and happy, and it goes against everything you stand for.
Oh yeah, I like serious and stoic and assertive.
So, what were your thoughts on Muffins?
Well, she has 1 layer, so I didn't have to think about her for very long. Also, she puts a vibrator up her ass, so I guess if you're into that, go for it.
For the dude who asked which characters liked butt stuff last episode, there is your answer.
I was playing her with the car, so I didn't, and she got covered by the car when that happened, so I didn't even realize what had happened when she's like, whoops, didn't mean for that to happen.
Just imagine you're
didn't mean to get run over by the car.
Just imagine.
Also, coincidentally, she kept mentioning a soapbox derby.
Just imagine you finished a game of strip poker and you've got a massager out, and you're about to go, and then all of a sudden a fucking car comes and drifts into your face. Yeah. Tommy and Horse Cat are definitely the dream team. You can tell because even when they're making a joke character, there are people asking, okay, but no, make her real though.
I mean, I guess she's better than Felicia, the current epilogue farm character.
Oh, damn.
Felicia has like weird stubby legs.
I feel like nobody...
So if you could just, swap them.
I feel like nobody cared about Felicia's legs until somebody pointed it out, and now it's like she looks like a goblin.
Felicia is like... She only exists because you have to put... Like, she's the most played character by far. And it's only because of all the people that just want to unlock all the epilogues and get it over with. And you have to put 2 characters there. So fuck, just give us the 1 layer character. Make it as simple as possible.
All right, and the last April Fool's character is the first Devil SPNati.
Oh God.
Show fucking Tucker.
Yeah, what's this guy's deal?
In his source material,
Something about a dog.
he's an alchemist, a state alchemist. And in order to keep his license, he needs to do something really big and spectacular. The last thing he did was he was able to make a chimera that could speak the human language. Just so happens that when he made that chimera, his wife just so happened to have gone missing. Who would have? Coincidence. This year, he decides to try again, making a chimera, and in order to do it, he fuses his dog with his daughter, and it's just it's in a constant state of like, fucking put me out of my misery, my entire suffering. And it's
So
really
it's like some kind of weirdo serial killer.
not even serial killer. He only does it like. Oh, actually, wait, did he have like a lab of creepy chimera people? I can't remember.
I think that was later.
He's at least killed his wife and daughter.
So he's fucked up is the point.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the male equivalent of putting sake in the game.
From what I've heard, he's basically the most hated anime character ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now that said, like out of all the Derpy aside, out of all the April Fool's characters, he's the one that least felt like a joke to me. I mean, besides once you start to realize that everything he says is a dad joke. But I like dad jokes, so I didn't mind that part.
Is it because he's a normal human character that's from an actual like source that isn't a joke itself?
That's probably it.
Like, this is a male anime character. He is a fucked up character, but he's not. But the character's source is not a joke.
Just why?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That was what got Pharaohs his purple name.
Was it worth it?
Oh, does he have a purple name now?
Yes, he does.
I didn't even notice.
He and I joined on the same day, and so like, it's weird that after all this time, he's finally got purple.
He always felt like he had purple in spirit, but now he actually does.
I'd said before that if there was anybody who hadn't contributed to the game yet felt like they had, it was Pharaohs. Do you have anything to say about Tucker, Cog?
I don't really have much to say that hasn't already been said. He's just very cursed, but somehow feels like he could be a real character. And that's pretty much it. And also,
I mean, he's basically Kira, except his fetish is turning people into dog humans instead of cutting off their hands.
And also he flosses for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what that was about. Up next is Lucina from Fire Emblem Awakening. And,
Thank God, we finally have a Fire Emblem character.
You joke about that, but Fire Emblem Awakening is the most popular game in the franchise. And this is our first Fire Emblem Awakening character, somehow. BK, why don't you give your thoughts on Lucina?
I didn't really like her that much. She felt kind of off. Like, in terms of her model, her hair and face need some work. Like, her hair should look more straight and clean, and instead it kind of looks like it looks more rough and wavy, and also shorter than canon as well. her personality seemed kind of stiff to me, as did her posing, but that's probably because of how complex her outfit is. But I feel like she could have been a little bit more cheery, like maybe like, I've never had a chance to play games before. This is fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and instead she kind of just felt too soldiery to me, and like she needs to kind of hold on to hope a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. Like, Lucina is from a future where everything is destroyed and everybody's parents are dead and murdered. So you think that, yeah, once she got the chance to relax and have a fun game, she would.
But all that said, I really like how she has the brand in the eye. That's a really nice touch. And I'm glad they had that.
What now?
She's got
the
a symbol in her eye.
brand of the Exalt in her eye.
Is that why one of her eyes doesn't have a shine?
Yeah.
It's
Because that's really distracting. It makes me. It kind of looks. I didn't know what that was. It looked like she was blind in one eye.
In Fire Emblem Awakening, she's part of the royal bloodline, and everybody in her bloodline gets that symbol on their body somewhere. Her father has it on his shoulder. Her cousin has it on his hand. She has it on her eye.
Well, royal families can be pretty inbred, so I can definitely see why they'd have weird markings on their bodies.
Actually, I don't think this game lets you do that. The next one does, Base does, but
yeah, the next one and like God, what was that? The really edgy one on the NES, the SNES.
Genealogy.
Huh?
Genealogy of the Holy Wars.
That one. Yeah. On the topic of inbreeding, she does mention her father more than I'd like her to, which is more than 0 times. Like, I like Crom and all, but it feels weird for her to mention him in this situation. Cog, what were your thoughts on her?
I think McCoy hit the mark on my thoughts on her. I feel like she could be a bit more open and her mouth use some touch-ups. Also think she could use some better targeting, because right now she only targets Patria to play up the whole Marth shtick and Captain Falcon, who's now dead. So
why did she target Captain Falcon?
Solely because of the Smash trailer, where Captain Falcon beats up Prom.
And her! He beats the shit out of her! She's trying to parry his punches with her blade and she's losing!
Well, you know, he's the epitome of manliness. He blew up, like, the solar system with a Falcon punch, right?
It was a lot larger than just the solar system. It was like half of
Universe.
the galaxy.
Yeah, what the fuck is a sword gonna do to that?
I mean, it's a legendary sword.
It kills
Did it slice the galaxy in half?
Maybe.
No. God. I need Zeus to hurry up and make Captain Falcon good already, so that I can just have Chiaki make fucking obscure references to the F-Zero anime. Because the meaning of truth is the sickest fucking song in anything. In any anime based on a video game. It's the best, and I need to reference that somehow.
Just make lines about how it's like, calling Falcon, like, what do you think, it's okay to beat a woman?
To be fair, he's an equal opportunist beater. He fucking beats the shit out of her dad, and then's like, okay, you're next. My dad can beat up your dad? No, I can beat up your dad, and then you.
Is that the origin of I refuse to lose to anime?
Yes, that's exactly the origin.
He just beats the shit out of all the Fire Emblem characters.
Well, he's standing there, he beats up her dad so hard that he gets deconfirmed from the game. And he starts wailing on her. And then Robin has to come in and save her ass.
He beat him so hard, he got delayed until Smash Ultimate came out.
Captain Falcon just punching people off the roster. I don't know why that's
And
funny.
now he's been punched off the SPNati roster.
Unfortunately,
Oh yeah,
not
by the way,
himself.
Rip Falcon Metaton. Now it'll actually be a question of who's the single most unpopular character in the game. It's no longer a foregone conclusion in the resorts that it's going to be those two.
Ironically, Falcon and Metaton were killed by Gay Spaghetti Chef.
Oh yeah, he's back.
The rise and fall of Dranky's kingdom. It reincarnates like a phoenix. He kills off his own characters to bring back more.
Yuri finally brought it back using her 10K contest rewards. So
Yuri had the opportunity
everyone
to bring back.
on V who was complaining about fucking Gay Spaghetti Chef not being in the game, lo and behold, you can finally play with him again online.
Anyway,
I have to remember what lines I actually wrote to him.
July is finally over, lads. Akko is finally here.
Oh yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
And I'd like for all of us to just take a minute and listen to what Cog has to say.
Yeah, there's really only one thing to say, and that's, well, fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
In case you're not aware, Cog never says fuck.
He's not said it.
I've already said it like 10 times on this podcast.
I made a promise that I would say it once Octo hit testing, and lo and behold, here she is.
Cog, much like not watching movies is not a personality, not saying fuck is not a personality.
Neither is saying fuck.
I don't know, Revy is full of personality.
These roads go two directions, Bananon.
I didn't claim that saying fuck was some big part of me. But whatever.
Anyway, let's go over what you guys have to say about Akko. BK, why don't you start us off?
I should probably preface this by apologizing directly to her creators for what I'm about to say. First off, I never saw her source. And surprise, surprise, anyone who knows me knows I watched nothing. And I really didn't get much from playing against her. Like, all I really got was, like, cheery girl who knows magic. She didn't really do much for me as someone who doesn't know her source. And she was kind of cute, but I'm just not really hooked on her. I hate to say it, but I don't think she offers much beyond her gimmick, which is transforming whenever she loses. And actually, I didn't like the transformation gimmick because it didn't make it clear what she was taking off. And for me, that's a pretty important thing to get in a character, is to make those stripping poses really good. Part of why I like Pinky so much. And I like the transformations that are more like monsters, like the robot one and the slime one, more than the ones that are just other characters. Because those ones are just references, which are pretty distracting and honestly a little boring to me. Like when she turns into Sailor Moon or Zelda or whatever, like it just feels like, hey, remember that thing? And doesn't really do anything with that.
Well, I'm in charge of the posing, so perhaps I could try to make it more apparent that something has been taken off.
That would definitely help. Now, I will end by saying kind of something nice, something, at least a chance thing that happened. So, she got to a stage where she's like, time for my next spell. And then the next phase, she goes, that didn't seem right. I was playing with Kazuna, and she was doing her forfeit. And at that moment, she went from one Kazuna to two. So to me, it seemed like she cloned Kazuna. And I thought that was pretty funny.
All right. Spinanon, what are your thoughts on Akko?
I think BK made some good points there. I played her once, and I wasn't really sure what her deal was either. Like she kind of like spoke a lot about people that she knew, but I didn't really know what she meant because she didn't like explain very much. I don't know, it's hard to know like Okay, so like she goes to a school of magic, but maybe I'm just misremembering. But like I didn't learn much about like how it worked. I feel like I like the transformations. You can see a lot of fun model work there. I think they might be misplaced. I think you should put them on like hand lines or like when they're like an opponent is removing something minor, like a boring thing. Like she should just. It's the same thing with Cammy. Like you've made Oliver stripping a gimmick where that's like the sexy part. That should just be normal. It's the same thing as like putting like a gimmick on the forefoot. Like don't do that. Keep that normal. Keep that sexy. Put the stripping. Make the stripping normal and put all the transformations when something boring is happening.
I do believe that Unmasked has transformations on a couple of lines.
Yeah, I did see a couple of them.
I'm sure that I could talk to him about getting them to place them in other places as well. As well as maybe bring up more stuff about Nova in general.
I think the people who have seen Little Witch Academia praised her a bit more, but I didn't really get what she was all about.
Okay, Cog, what about you?
Well, as someone who actually has seen Little Witch Academia, I really liked her. Like, she was cute and had a pretty spot-on personality. Her transformations were pretty fun, and the references were neat. And the targeted lines she has are really fun, and I like them a lot, especially the pit.
Yeah, I did a lot of the targeting lines, but NMAS was all of them. NMAS did all of Hit and Natsuki, and all the target lines Pit and Natsuki.
Yeah, I thought they were really fun, and I was really happy to reciprocate them in full. And I can't wait to see how she improves. I do agree that she could use some more elaboration on her source material, and that maybe the transformations could be moved to some more of the boring parts of the game. But overall, I think she's a really solid character and one of the strongest ones on testing right now.
Oh, I've got good news for you guys. I'm cooking up a couple more transformations once Hanako is going to be finished. So, if you guys have suggestions, I'm always listening.
To a clown.
Maybe this is more a criticism of like Namasp's style, but I think some of Anko's lines are a little rambly.
I actually saw one that was covered by her pose, so it like went like half of it was behind her head, so I couldn't read it.
I think that's more an issue of the pose itself, because
Yeah.
she throws the hat up and it just completely covers up her text box.
Yeah, so like simply changing it to like a less excited one would probably make that much more readable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that reminds me. I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant. Somebody submitted a question asking, when was the last time that Yuri Space Pirate watched anything? Yuri is a college student. She has to do that. She has her classes and her homework. She's got her social life, which I don't know anything about, but I assume that she's got friends.
I assume she has a social life.
She's got her job as a comedian, which requires, I imagine, practice and coming up with material and making sure that you get your shit right on the stage. She is a moderator on SPNati social Discord, which has close to 1,000 people on it. So she's got to make sure that people like smearing shit on the wall. She added burn marks to Hanako's poses, them individually. She posed about 60% of Akko's total poses, and she's currently working on redoing Q's entire model. She is a very busy girl, and the work she makes is good. Be patient, and that's all I've got to say about that. Next up is, after all this time of waiting, Sayaka from something Madoka Magica is finally in the main game.
Just say Monica.
Okay. PMMM. PM3.
PM cubed. Project M.
What are you guys' thoughts on her?
I think it's nice to see that after so many attempts and hard work on her creator's part, she's finally in the main game. I kind of like her I'm here to save the world attitude and that kind of spunky hero angle. And I also like that she didn't really know what taking off her outfit would be like because it's a magic outfit that just appears on her when she does the magic girl transformation. Some of her expressions didn't really go with her dialogue sometimes. And on her model, her face looks kind of squished to me. I know her creator's trying to mimic her source art, but I don't think it works at all.
All right, Cog, what about you?
I think it's great that she's finally in the main game after over 200 days on testing, and I really gotta give it to Bago for sticking it out and making her work despite the many setbacks and even a sponsorship failure. She's not a character I'm particularly interested since I'm not that big on anime, but she's cute and I really like how far she's come.
Oh yeah.
Cog refuses to lose to anime.
What about you, SPNati? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not like super interested in her character either. But okay, well, as a criticism, I think I like the way her model looks, but I think some of her writing, some of her lines kind of rely on tell, don't, show. Like there's a lot of times where she kind of like states exactly what's happening in like a weird robotic kind of way. Like, oh, I'm experiencing so much pleasure, or something like that. You know, and like you should show that, you know, by like just little vocalizations and moans and things, you know, or just like her body language. Other than that, yeah, the fact that she's been on testing for like 200 days or whatever, but she actually made it on the main game, and she's improved a whole ton from what she started as. Like, she definitely has a stronger personality now. It's just like if you're a new creator, like that's the example you want to follow is someone who like didn't start out particularly good, but they first of all they stuck to one project. They didn't make excuses or like complain that like they were disadvantaged or something like that. They took feedback and they tried to improve. And you know, whenever like people came up with like new requests to like change things for sponsorship, you know, they handled it. They got it all done. And look at that, they actually have character in the game because they focused on one thing and they listened to feedback and they didn't make excuses.
Yeah, it's definitely nice that like all of this effort has finally paid off. And while I've only seen like the first 5 episodes of Madoka, so I don't really know what the Sayaka is like once she gets the magical girl transformation. What I can say is that you can definitely tell that of time. I think that it's safe to say that time has been put working on getting this character into the game than anyone else. And it shows. But she's finally here. And she's got a cute model. Props to him, he did it all on Mac as well, which is a lot harder because most of the tech we have is geared towards Windows, but there he goes. He's finally got it. Excited to see what he does next. Oh god, the audio on my headphones Instead of my headphones just died. Okay. Then the last character to get added to testing is Hanako Ikazawa. She's back after a pretty substantial update, and she's had quite a few of them the last few days.
You didn't even put that in the agenda, and she's your character.
I have been, over the last 48 hours, I've had 2 hours of sleep, 1 hour of me half asleep, listening to true crime stories, and a Red Bull. That's all I've got to keep me going.
It's gonna catch up to you, dude.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I don't mean
But-
tomorrow, I mean like in 2 years. It's gonna
Uh,
catch up to you.
That's not my problem. That's Future Joe's problem.
I can't even like pull an all-nighter anymore. I spent all my points there years ago.
Well, I'm not using all of them. I'll save some up anyway. What are you guys' thoughts on Hanako?
I'm kind of reluctant to say because, again, I have to apologize preemptively to her creators for what I want
That's
to
me.
say.
You're talking right to
Right.
them.
I'm right here.
Yeah, half the team, because Yuri also worked on it, right?
Yes, but she's
credited.
now entirely in my hand.
Well, Yuri was credited as part of the dialogue writer, so
Yeah, she did a
apologize to
couple
her
of the
too for this.
targeted lines.
I honestly kept forgetting she was even in the match. Like, she just didn't stick out to me much at all. And I hate to say this, but she stuck out even less than Akko. She didn't talk about her source really at all when I played with her, besides a couple of name drops that, to be honest, really mean nothing because I don't know her source. And she didn't express much personality beyond generic shy cheerful. She didn't really do anything to make me interested in her or her source beyond, being shy and having burns, which is just not enough for me personally. You think for
No,
a piece,
I get you.
you think for a piece of bacon she'd have more flavor?
Ugh.
I'm sorry. That was
Oh, you've been waiting for a fucking hour to drop that one.
yes. I did have that written in my notes and stuff.
No, I understand
You
what
have
you mean.
notes? I'm just winging this.
But Hanako is like it is just a problem that you have when you're writing shy characters like that. Like you can't have them not fade into the background.
Yeah, the problem with shy characters is that they don't want to talk about themselves, but they need to.
Yeah, the same thing happens with nice characters like Pyrrha. Where it's just like in a game with so many big personalities, characters with more subdued personalities do kind of fade into the background.
This is why Revy is so easy to write, because she'll say anything. Oh god, I love that.
Cog, what about you? Any thoughts on Hanako?
I think, all things considered, I kind of agree with Point. She doesn't really have that much of a presence in the overall scheme of the game. And it's kind of a shame because she seems to have some really good artwork done, but she just doesn't really do much to stand out dialogue-wise. She just stands out compared to everyone else on the table.
Well, would she stand out on a table of shy characters?
I think on a table of shy characters she would stand out, but there's not that many shy characters left in the game. There's characters like Kyoko and Nagisa, sure, but there's not really much to differentiate her because she's just another shy schoolgirl in comparison. She just has burns.
Not every character can capture the spotlight at all times just because of their personality. I think one of the guiding principles you want to have for writing a shy character. Disclaimers: I haven't written a shy character, but I think how you want to make the writing appealing is you want the player to think, like, I want to see her reaction to what's going on. So, I don't like, you get that with Florina, you know? Like, you whip your dick out in front of Florina and she's gonna, like, come up with something, like, funny or interesting to say, even though she's really shy. She'll just, like, start stuttering completely or something like that. Or freak out. Or say something really awkward and then apologize. I think you just need to tap into that with Hanako.
I'll just steal it. I'll just steal lines in this train of thievery.
She needs like a strong reaction, or not really emotional, but just like really different from, like, I think Pyrrha syndrome. Well, it's called Jane Doe syndrome technically, but it happens when a character just kind of like accepts everything really passively and doesn't have an opinion on anything. You know, or they lose and it's just like, oh well, it's my turn to strip. It's like, what? Don't you feel some way about that? When they just like kind of say nothing other than what's going on and they don't have an opinion.
Also, part of the problem is a shy character doesn't want to be there, and you can't really write them to be like saying, "Oh, I don't want to be here," because that makes them unfun.
Yeah, you need a reason for her to be there.
Word of advice for everybody who's thinking of writing a shy character. Are you really sure? Because I have put 1,000 lines into Hanako, and I'm already like, and only now I'm like, I'm not having fun with this. I want to go back to writing Kamina. I want to go back to writing Chiaki. I want to go back to writing anybody else at the moment.
Even writing Ryuko, who is not necessarily shy. She's like aggressive and assertive, but she's not used. She's used to nudity, but she's not used to sexual situations, which is already weird enough. But I don't really particularly enjoy writing that kind of inexperience. I just think it's hard to know what to say. Like Mei and Jiro are technically like experienced, at least when it comes to male nudity, but it's to the point where like it's so alien to them that they're just curious about it, and they can still be direct enough to just ask like funny questions. Whereas something with Ryuko, I just never know what to write. It doesn't feel right to me.
All right, and with that, we're finally fucking done with the characters added to testing in the main game.
It's only been like 80 minutes.
Oh my god, no, we had to re-record the intro though because it was completely terrible, and I needed to turn.
No, it's been less. Come on, let's get going. Chop chop.
All right. Let's see. Upcoming projects. Blue Coin, why don't you start us out?
I've been working on kind of a lot lately, so I'll just keep this down to what's happening in the near future for certain. Like, no ifs, like, definites. Right now, I want to focus on improving my existing characters over creating new ones. Especially because of the upcoming resort, which is like a week from now.
Oh god, is it a week from now?
Actually,
yeah.
We decided it's going to be on the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, an official date.
So 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks.
All right,
it's
clock's
the final
ticking.
Countdown.
Clock's ticking.
And Spooky and Joey are definitely next in line for updates. That might happen within the next week or so. Spooky's kind of coming along slowly, but I'm working on that. And then after that, I want to try to update Beatrix. A little bit of an overhaul where she gets angry based on what opponents do rather than how much she's losing. Like, kind of use markers and stuff to track that. And then after that, I'm going to give Zelda a long overdue update, improving her, not only her dialogue, but giving her a much better model. And honestly, I'm tempted to try to do the same for Beatrix, try to make her model look even better, but that's really up in the air. The order of that might change, but, it's definitely happening within the next, I'd say, probably a couple of months.
Aren't you going to talk about the team that you've assembled? The Avengers of
I
SPNati.
figured we talk about that later, since it's not going to happen in the near future. It's more far off.
Okay, then I'll just leave
Are you
it.
making the entire Avengers team SPNati?
That'd be a crazy April Fool's joke.
It's all one character?
No, we're just gonna leave that vague for now, and answer it in the future. So, Cog, what about you? Any upcoming projects from you?
Well, my projects recently have not really changed that much, so I'm just going to keep it to my three most upcoming ones that will probably be out in the next few months. My main focus right now is to work on Larshell from the Sacred Stones. I think I'll be able to get her on the testing by the end of the month, but I said that in March, so we'll see.
Wait, which character?
Rachel.
Oh, Laura Shell.
Another fucking Fire Emblem character.
Exactly.
Speaking of,
Wait, which game is she from?
Sacred
Sacred
Stones.
Stones.
But she's got like enough personality for 3 characters.
So which number is the Sacred Stones?
8.
Well, that's a loaded question.
Main series.
Because sometimes it's 7. Like, it started production
What?
at before the 7th game in the series was released.
Oh god.
So internally, it's known as Fire Emblem 7, but also
What system is it for?
the
Game Boy Advanced.
Still?
Yes.
I thought
There's
only
two-
6 and 7 were on the Game Boy.
No, 6 is 7. There are 2 7s, and one of them's for the GameCube, and they're completely different games.
There's the one with Roy, and then there's the one with Lynn or whatever name is, right?
No,
Hector, Eli Wood.
The Ike game is also 7
I
because
thought that was called Path of Radiance or something.
yes, it is,
Yeah,
but it's
Ike's game is
internally
on the GameCube.
Didn't that come out years later?
yes, but it
I
started.
thought Ike's first game was on the Wii.
No, it was on the. Okay, whatever. Never mind.
I think the Wii one was the second.
And that's why he was in Brawl.
Fire Emblem's a fucking mess. Don't worry.
Maybe not.
Can't even number their fucking games right.
Speaking of
No.
Fire Emblem, I'm also working on Setsuna from Fire Emblem Fates. She'll come out probably in around July, I think.
Yes! I've been waiting so long for this day. Someone to take the death away.
And so
I'm excited for Setsuna.
How many Fire Emblem characters will we be up to?
A lot. But for something I haven't actually publicly revealed until now, I'm actually working with Halo on Makoto Nijima from Persona 5.
I knew it.
Yet another
Fucking knew
Persona character. Not even Persona, but Persona 5 specifically.
To be fair, have we had a single bad Persona 5 character so far?
I had to stop posting Monopoly.
Well, I don't know, Ryuji looked like Beavis for a while.
But does he now? Okay, now
He never scored.
I just want to know. So, Cog, you brought up that you were collabing with Bagel on something, and for the longest time, I thought that it was Makoto.
Nope,
But
it's
now
something
I know
completely
for
different.
sure that it's not Makoto, but I know it's something you both like, and I know it's something he doesn't have a model for, and I still think it's a Persona 5 character. But that idea is dwindling as the days go by.
Let me tell you, you really can't get the full experience from this game if you haven't played Fire Emblem and Danganronpa and Persona.
And
And watched
Ruby.
all of Ruby.
Yeah, same hat.
You're really just missing out on half the roster.
I can't wait for that day for the day where that's not a hyperbole.
Okay, if we combine all of those, what are we up to? Oh, you got to include Street Fighter too.
Why not Scooby-Doo? We've got 4 of them.
They're all dead except for
We have
Velma,
4
who
My
is
Little
not long
Ponies
for
now,
this
too.
world.
Oh yeah,
We got
that's
3
true.
Battleborns, sort of.
What?
We got 3 Battleborns, sort of. One's still in the works, and one's dead.
Yeah, I'm just
but-
focusing on online because all the Fire Emblem characters are basically online. Ruby
Yeah,
is
I
even
figured.
more of a juggernaut if you include all the offline. So they have more offline characters than online, don't they? Maybe
There's
it's-
5 online and I think 3 offline.
There's okay, Kali died, and
Yep.
Winter, and Neo, and Pyrrha. Is there anybody
Okay,
else?
5-4.
Okay. So they're not
You know
okay.
what?
So they have a winning record so far.
You know what's fucked up?
I'm so fucked up.
I mentioned Pyrrha by name earlier this episode, and I've already forgotten that she was in the game.
Yeah, she really left an impression, didn't she?
No, and I feel bad for Nessie since he put in the work for that art.
I forgot
Oh, God.
Neo. Shows how much impact silent characters have, I guess.
Yeah, remember when we had mute characters? Good
A
times.
whole 2.
Oh yeah, Link's back in the game now, right?
He was just
Only-
for April Fools.
Oh, they took him out again?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph
Cantell's gonna nuke the repo.
No, he said we only
We
had
put
to
him
put it
back
back.
in.
We
He
had
didn't say
put
he
it
had to
back.
stay in.
Exactly.
Alright, fair enough.
Okay.
There's definitely people who only started playing the game recently who thought Link was just an April Fool's joke.
That is weird.
And they don't realize that he used to be like one of the best male characters because he wasn't weird.
All right.
You remember when Link was the best male character?
No, I think even that. Well, yep.
What was his
Yeah.
competition? Xander?
Shaggy and Fred.
Bazinga?
Shaggy was the first male character in SPNati, and that's weird. Imagine of all the male characters in the world that exist that you could have done. You start with fucking Shaggy Norbert or whatever his last name is.
Norwood Roberts or something like that?
Norville Rogers, I think.
Norville Rogers. And
That's what it was.
that was before the
Anyway.
Shaggy memes. That was before Dragon Ball Super. Well, it wasn't before Super, but it was before the memes with Shaggy. So it's completely unrelated. Some guy was just like, I want to see all the Scooby-Doo gang strip and masturbate.
All right.
Early SPNati was a wild time.
Yeah.
It was no man's land out there.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that. I just hear about it in like war stories that that you tell, and actually all 3 of you have been around longer than I have.
I took a bit of a time skip, but Cog was there at the very beginning, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was there since I think Asuna was added into the game.
BK, when did you join?
Sometime around when Amy was at it, Amy Rose.
Oh wow, that's pretty damn
Because
early.
I saw
When was
posted on
that?
that on the Reddit.
Let me look at Hex's document, which is fucking the best thing, might I add. Just having all this information. It's like
more people used to edit it than Hex, but he said like he doesn't like it when other people do that.
just imagine
He's very attached to it.
Hex sitting in a cave in a corner with a crayon, like crossing people's writing off, like manually crossing people's writing off of his document.
It gives him purpose.
It gives him an excuse to delay Valerie.
When was Amy Rose?
January, February, March, April 5th, 2017.
released to the game April 21st.
It's about that time.
Oh my god, she's
So-
almost 2 years old.
Yeah.
Well, if you count the debut, a little bit over.
And if
So-
you consider development time, that's about how old Ayla is. Because she was like my
Really? You've been working
second
on her that
character,
long?
yeah, pretty much like not too long after Arendi, I started working. I at least made the model, and then dialogue came like a couple months later or something.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how long? I'm like
think
looking
that-
at. That's a really long gap between. Oh, that's it. That's like. That's about like 10 months, dude.
I mean, that's just like when she got into the game. Like as far as what I've been working on behind the scenes, it was around the time of Arendi.
Around this time is when I started development on about 10, actually.
You started working on them at the same time?
Well, I made their models at around the same time. I had them both in one post, actually, but I prioritized Palutena first. So she came out around June of 2017, and then it took another 8 months because I was pouring all that targeted dialogue into them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, SPNanon, what are your future projects?
Ugh. Been working on Ryuko for so long now. But I really haven't. It's just been I have a bunch of other shit in real life that I have to do instead. It's been a very long time. I'm getting sick of saying it every podcast. I'm definitely going to try to give her some last few updates, some targets and some conditional lines, and get her in the main game, hopefully before the next podcast, and then I'll finally be able to move on to other stuff for a while. I'll give her a bit of a break just to recharge. Other than that, let's see. I'd like to redo Revy's epilogue to use the new, more dynamic, more cinematic epilogue engine. Probably add some more scenes. Thanks for breathing into the mic awkwardly.
I'm sorry, I'm I'm yawning. Sleep deprivation is catching up with me.
Mm-hmm. And with all the big art reworks going on right now, with Misato and all the Street Fighter girls and stuff, and just Bagel and Mouse generally dunking on everyone, definitely think the art for my characters is kind of falling behind. I mean, it's from so long ago. It's over a year old, both of those models, basically. And I had no clue what the fuck I was doing in Kisake, or how to make anything look good. So I definitely want to take another pass at Maya and Jura and try to give them better models.
You gonna try and make Nao's IP and Kisake now? Because it like looking at it, it's like an obviously photoshopped object onto a Kisake body.
That was like literally the first time I used Photoshop for anything ever. Was that? So, yeah, I'll give it another look.
Didn't you have to do it like manually, like for each image, because it wasn't an image attachment? It was literally photoshopping the images.
Yeah, that was before there were
Image
image
attachments.
attachments. I mean, it was both of those models were made in like Kisake version 54. We couldn't even mirror belts.
I
So,
remember those were dark days.
so old. Like you don't even know some of the newer creators. The shit we were working with.
That reminds me, one of the reasons I updated it the way he was is because he was also made in version 54, and I thought he was for an upgrade.
Yeah, they look really amateurish now. I didn't even know how to handle hair. I didn't know what hair pieces were. So I'm trying to work on their models, and it's not going too well, and I haven't had much time to do that.
My first
well-
Rinka model was so terrible.
Yeah, I'm also stuck on a shitty laptop right now that can barely run anything. So, gonna have to get back on my desktop so I can like, open Kisake and the character editor at the same time without it bursting into flames. Other than that, just gonna focus on trying to make them really good. Try to give Revy some more targeted lines, some targeting some more situations. Maybe one day, Fubuki from One Punch Man. I think she'd be fun to write because she's also stoic and analytical.
You've got your type, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if the manga has gone fucking anywhere in that time. I basically had to read the rest of the webcomic just to see if I could get any more personality out of her. The one thing that's weird is if you've seen like the manga, like she's really hot. she's like slender figure and big tits and like bedroom eyes and shit, and no one comments on it ever. It's really weird. Like I get like Saitama has no emotions anymore and he wouldn't care. Like everyone else just like doesn't seem affected by it at all.
There are demons and dragons in this world. Do you think I have time for thoughts?
Yes.
So that's weird. But I'll deal with that. The only one in love with her is the artist.
Once Hanako gets sponsored, she's at 3 out of 5 right now. I'm going to help finish up Akko. Then I'm going to do some maintenance on Rinka, Chiaki, and Kamina. And maybe work with Viz on Kaede and try to fight the temptation of Yuri dangling more characters in front of me. And then I'm gonna be working on getting started on a project that BK has brought a crew together to do. It's not a super secret, but I guess I'm just gonna be mysterious and vague for no reason.
You can say if you really want to.
I already know.
Yeah, it's Perla Marina, from Splatoon, and that's that. I might be making Dante with Halo. He's making a model at least, and I'm gonna see where that goes. Oh god, we're finally to the questions and answers.
It's only been an hour and a half.
Thank goodness, only an hour and a half.
Maybe you should have gotten some sleep, Johan, and then you wouldn't be whining and bitching about a 3-hour podcast or whatever.
I had to finish Hanako's hair.
Did you?
No, but I wanted to.
What would happen if you just had to do it today instead?
I would have been grumpy. I'm a man. Look, SPNati, I'm far from a perfect man. I've got plenty of flaws. One of which is that I am the least patient fucker on this planet. I'm all about speed, efficiency, movement. I gotta go. Gotta get shit done.
Well, then let's go to the fucking questions.
Okay.
Real efficient method would have been to do her hair shines during the podcast.
God, you're right.
Yeah, just multitask.
That's what I'm doing.
2 blue coin. Is Ribbon Girl ever going to come back to testing?
Okay. First, I'd like to say, whoever asked that question, I appreciate you. That question made me happy. But
did you ask it?
Maybe. She's
Oh god.
coming back, but probably not soon. I'm thinking I'll wait until the graphic novel comes out so I can have some more source to work with. She might come back before then, but definitely no promises.
Alright. SPNati, what video game character would you want to see the most in SPNati?
Well, clearly one from Fire Emblem, because we've never had one before.
There are... SPNati, the thing about Fire Emblem is that there are over 1,000 characters. There is a best girl...
And they're all the same.
No, they're not.
They're just there to get killed.
Not if you get good.
You mean not if you save and reset?
It's basically chess with waifus, dude. There is a waifu for you in I'm sure that if I tried my hardest, I could find a stoic, blue-haired girl in a bodysuit somewhere in there.
Hey, Bruta. I don't know.
Yep. There we go already.
What?
Sure,
Yeah,
great.
Post a
Ruka.
picture.
Okay, one sec. I'm just gonna fucking Photoshop Baruka's head onto Maya after this.
You better include it in the video.
I absolutely will.
I don't know if you're aware, but Maya's character archetype is not exactly the most original.
Yes, the Ray.
That doesn't stop me from loving her.
The Ray Mummy. There's your stoic blue-haired waifu.
She kind of looks like Say.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? There's a waifu.
Her hair's not as cute as Maya with the messy bangs.
But she's got a fucking headband and a cloak. That's bliss.
Yeah, is she from fucking Naruto? Is she gonna be Hokage?
Naruto didn't invent the headbands, Banana.
Are you sure?
No.
More like Hokage, am I right?
Fucking destroyed. Anyway. If you could have a video game waifu in SPNati, what would it be?
Okay. Serious answer.
Oh god, you haven't made a video game.
You didn't know that?
No, it just hit me. Because I know you like Vidya. I know that you you have video game waifus like Sabrina from Pokemon and
just because I like a girl does not make her my waifu, okay?
And what's her
tits? You don't know what a waifu is?
Trigger?
What?
What's her tits from Chrono Trigger?
Ayla.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not aware. All the characters I've made or worked on have been from anime or manga. And that's including Fuki, if I made her. So despite I play video games more than I watch anime, and still I don't know. I just feel like video games usually don't give you much to work with a character. But I like Mega Man, and I think one really interesting kind of character I like to see is like a Reploid. I think the weird sexuality of how do Reploids fuck. I think that'd be really interesting to write.
Like Splash Woman from Mega Man?
She's a robot master, not a Reploid.
Wait, what's the difference?
She doesn't have legs.
I'm a Mega Man. Explain what a Reploid is.
A Reploid is the robots in Mega Man X and past that, where they basically are humans. Like they can independently think and shit. It's just like the Maverick virus. Can make them go insane and murder people.
Like X and the lamer Proto Man.
Well, X and Zero are the only ones who aren't susceptible to those kind of flaws in the programming that'll make them go insane. Because X underwent 100 years of morality testing in a capsule. Because Light wanted to really make sure that he didn't go insane and kill people. But all the Reploids were based on flawed copying of X's programming. But still, they are basically human. They're just robots. So I think that'd be interesting. So any of the navigators in the X series, like Alia and Leia and stuff, people like them. Even if you don't want to do a Reploid, there's a lot of cute girls. There's CL and Fairy Leviathan. Well, she's a Reploid. But from Mega Man Zero, Ale and Ash, they're humans, and they're from ZX, and I love ZX, and I wish it had a sequel. Well, I wish there was a ZX3 anyway. There's a lot of stuff you could do. So just a Mega Man girl. Tron Bond would be cute. You could try to make Roll, but that's a little, handsome.
Yeah. Just make the really cool version from the Proto Men songs.
I guess there's Roll Casket from Mega Man Legends, which I haven't played, but if you want to do her instead.
Alright.
Just a Mega Man girl.
these two questions are to Team Akko, which I guess is just me today. For the person offering to suck dick for transformations, you don't need to. They're coming. Don't worry about it.
You don't need to suck the dick anymore because they're coming?
Yeah, haha, funny guy. Since Akko's on test, will we ever see Vriska? Vriska and Akko were both by the dev who made Natsuki, right? No. Almost none of that is correct.
People still remember Vriska.
Almost none of that is correct. Vriska is made by Underscore. Akko is
Underscore worked on Natsuki.
Yes, okay. It's like a chain of connections. Underscore did the dialogue along with NMAS on Natsuki, and then Hex did the posing. And then NMAS did the dialogue for Akko, and I also did some of the dialogue and the posing, as well as Yuri did some of the posing on Akko. So there's like several degrees of separation. But I think that right now Vriska is trapped in purgatory, as Underscore is currently focused on getting the Ruby girls to a state where they aren't constantly sucking garbage.
Technically, I do think that. Actually, do think that Underscore did give Vriska away to Yuri, so.
Okay.
Oh, she'll get done very quickly then.
Yuri is currently saying that she's going to spend the next 5 years getting me to help her with projects. I'm not sure that.
What is Yuri's focus right now? Is she doing Q?
Yeah, I think
updating Q?
Yeah, she's doing that alongside with an epilogue.
Hey, when are we gonna get Yuri from DLC?
Not fucking soon enough, and that's so upsetting because she's my favorite DDLC girl.
The hilarious part is that we can tell people. Yeah,
you cut out. You cut out from me. What was that?
So we always tell people, oh, just make the girl. But if someone wanted to add Yuri, they would need access to that model, or they'd have to make a shitty model that doesn't look good next to the other ones. So you're basically holding the entire character hostage because you don't want to give away the model.
No, listen up right now. On this train of Thievery, come along, board it, and NTR Yuri Thursdays and Underscore. If you want to make Yuri, do it. I'm sick of waiting.
Are you going to give away the model, or are they just going to have to make it themselves?
I will help them recreate it.
I actually think it's floating around somewhere on the dev server if they really want to go for it.
I will find the truth. Anyway, and then
I haven't played DDLC, I don't care. But which I realize is not a personality.
Yeah, I played it, and I don't care either.
Cog, somebody said, this was not something I was gonna put in because it was kind of a last minute question. And also, I surprise you. Fuck off! I've got like 15 E's in here, and there's 60 questions. It's literally.
When did that joke happen?
I don't know, and it's so frustrating.
I think every majority of questions have been.
Cog, somebody asked, when will you start believing in yourself? We all believe in you.
Once I have a reason to.
Can we be your reason?
The eternal page 1 spot isn't good enough.
Just believe in the you that we... Even if you can't understand it or don't know why, we believe in you, so there's a reason, right? Believe in the you that we believe in. Anyway. Okay. Question 1. Is there anything about your SPNati career that you regret? How would you have changed it?
Is it the beach epilogue, y'all?
It's the fucking beach epilogue!
Absolutely the goddamn beach epilogue.
How would you have
One of
changed
these-
it?
You've seen how I've changed it.
You eat Rinka's ass on the beach?
Don't think I wouldn't. I would have changed it by making it the epilogue I gave her now. Yeah, that's my answer. We all know the fucking beach. Ha ha ha. Funny.
I mean, I never really saw it.
Good.
It's cursed.
What about you, Blue Coin?
I don't know if this really counts, but I kind of regret the conditions all my characters were released under. Like, I wish they had come out as, like, started as better characters rather than coming out kind of okay and then having to improve them over time. Like, I feel like they'd be in better standings and would probably have more fans if they released as better characters.
I mean, that's unavoidable. That you're going to improve over time. As long as you thought that like you did the best you could when you released them, you can't hate yourself for it otherwise.
I guess really my regret is first impressions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be hard to win fans after that.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Cog?
I'd say my only main regret is my first character choice. Like, Mia's all well and good, but she's kind of not that interesting. Like, if I was going to do it again, I probably would have made someone who's a little more niche, but someone who has more appeal to me personally, like Sasha Buckler or even Athena Sykes.
Oh god, I need to get to that timeline. I need to move to the timeline where Cog made Athena.
So yeah,
that's the Steins Gate timeline. Where we have the cute redhead attorney.
So yeah, I don't have that much passion for Mia anymore. I actually think I might stop supporting her with future updates. And
That's a shame. I like her.
She's not bad, but she's
got big tits. Fun was first. That's always fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I still like her, but I am kind of out of ideas for her. Like I think once I make her dual epilogue with Eni, I think I'll stop giving her future support and just let her die a peaceful death.
No, what we gotta do is we gotta make Red White and have him be the one that knocks her into offline.
Oh.
Is it too soon? It's been like 15 years since that game came out.
Also, Yuri's bitching in chat that the episode's too long.
Hasn't even been 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been just under 2 hours.
Wait, that's less than 2 hours, she says. I've lost all sense of time. Tell her to go to fucking sleep. Anyway.
Please sleep, Yuri. Please sleep.
If Mia's still around for next April Fool's, I'll make Red White as an April Fool's character and retire her after then.
You heard it here first,
April May as well.
And then we can have Zuja make Godot.
And
just complete the entire story of Ace Attorney inside SPNati.
The Ace Attorney trilogy retold at SPNati.
And then I'll make Simon Blackwell because he's the fucking coolest character in that series.
Okay, does Mia have specific lines if you name her Phoenix?
Not yet. That feature hasn't been around for that long, and I haven't updated her recently, so not really. I probably should, but that's in the future after Lara Shell.
Alright. What about you, Spinetta? Do you have any regrets?
Oh, plenty. Well, I don't know about that. I definitely think that I waited too long to kind of learn how Kisuke worked, which I partially blame everyone else for, because they didn't say shit about how bad my models were. The first criticism I got for that was some Reddit rando who said that Jura's model wasn't very good. I'm like, yeah, you're right. When I finally improved or tried to improve it, that's when like people told me what belts were and shit. 'Cause I didn't know what those tabs did. I guess I should have. Or I didn't realize the potential, I guess. So you can see how I'm still trying to pick up the pieces from that. Let's see.
To be fair, the reason I didn't tell you is because I was also really shit at the time. While you were making Amaya's model, I was ass on a beach.
Yes. That was before. Well, anyway, let's see. I think either my character choices or just the timing of them. Like, I don't think I've spaced out my development really very well. I'm always like playing catch up because I keep trying to target everyone, and kind of having to write like a full new character in the meantime just makes it very stressful. So I think I just made it really hard on myself. Like Jura, I think Jura's fun, and a lot of people have really responded to her and targeted her a lot. But I'm not should have made her just because she started as just like someone to give more context for who Maya was, and I think at this point they kind of just do the same thing. They have different personalities, but like they're basically fulfilling the same niche of I come from all woman planet. I know what men are. And you can see how I always talk about them together because they're basically like the same sort of thing, and they're sort of just like kind of clawing at each other's success. So I don't know if I should have done that. Maya is definitely like the more prioritized character in the source anyway. She gets a lot more development. So I think maybe all the time I spent making Jura in those few months that I did, I probably should have just spent more time like rewatching the series and learning how to write Maya better, and learning how Kisuke worked better. So I think I just piled too much on my plate too fast. Same thing with Ryuko. I just think I started working on her at a bad time. Like school was starting up, and you can see how long it's taken me to like push any updates for her because of that. And then like the epilogue engine came out at the same time, so I like devoted a whole month to doing that instead. And I don't know, she's just taken the project has taken a lot longer than I really wanted it to. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to give her the same level of updates as my other girls, just because I'm kind of burned out on it.
Yep, I definitely know what you mean.
Well, Hanako?
Yes, unironically and ironically.
It's just taken too damn long, and I'm not into it anymore. So I'll get her into the game, and we'll see if I feel like I'm really giving her huge updates after that. Because, I mean, people seem to like her as she is anyway, so I don't think she's in desperate need of them or to target everyone. I might just move on.
All
that's
right.
me.
Question 2. We're getting there. Which of the newcomers will do the best in this resort?
What's the list of newcomers?
Okay, I've got the document. So,
Check the back.
I'm rooting for Miko. She deserves it. Miko consistently makes me laugh.
Pinkie Pie, Kamina, Miko, Ini, Coco, Rarity, Sheena, Francisca, Sayaka.
Who do I think is going to do the best? Probably Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
People love Pinkie Pie, and she's super popular.
I would say Coco's probably a safe bet just because Ruby, and also Coco is a good character.
See, I feel like that's the thing. Coco is the best Ruby character we've got, but before Signrider BB left forever, he kind of did drag the Ruby characters down a bit with some less than popular art updates.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm trying to say that the nicest way I can.
But
But-
as for like my personal vote, I would say either Eni or the ponies.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Rarity's here too. I think Pinkie Pie is probably gonna do a little stronger though. I mean, they're all tied together with Twilight anyway, and Twilight got updates. I think they're gonna have a really strong showing. I really want to see how Kamina does. I
Same.
want to see it. I want to see how close he gets to Pit.
Because I think Kamina is my best character.
He and Jin are like the
But-
only ones that could ever possibly rival Pit, I think, and that's if they had like thousands more lines a day.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm not as powerful as Cog. I merely have a weapon of equal strength.
Well,
I'm
you can
just not-
just
just
stop Hanako and focus on getting Kamina thousands of lines.
But I'm so close, and then I can be done with this.
I just want to see that last spot on the first page be competitive, because Pit will be sitting there forever, just because he's a man. Like, no, he's good. I mean, but like he has that spot to himself basically.
I'm coming for you, Cog. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna sit under a waterfall, and I'm gonna yell anime quotes that mean nothing.
Like last resort, everyone on the front page changed except for Pit.
Alright.
Like the girls have to fight tooth and nail for those spots,
So Cog.
and that, my friends, is male privilege.
Cog,
To
what
be
about you?
fair, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask Cog which character he thinks is gonna do the best in the resort.
There's really not much to say. I'm basically in agreement. I think it's Pinky. Well, I'd like it to be Coco to boost my self-esteem. Realistically, it's not going to happen.
Well, unfortunately, she's tied to the rubies.
Once underscore makes the rubies playable again.
Make
That-
Ruby great again.
I'll consider it a personal victory if Coco scores above Team Ruby.
I think she probably will. Well, I do think she's the best one. Does she have the most lines out of any of them?
She's the only one that's gone through sponsorship and passed.
I think the only one higher than her is maybe Yang.
Well, let's check, shall we? How many lines does Coco have? 1484. So yeah, I think that's a little bit below Yang. Yang has 1876. Wow. I thought she had like 1500. I know Yang used to have the second most lines in the game. Second only to Moon. Remember when Moon had the most lines in the game by a country mile?
I do. I was there.
Dark times. I don't
Do
remember.
not cite the ancient magics me. I was there when they were written.
Oh, well. I guess I was there for that, but not when she came out.
Okay, next question is: how do you keep generic dialogue from being bland?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself, really. What I try to do is avoid
Cog?
just stating the obvious, or at least like throw something in there, you know, like a joke or like some wordplay to make it a little bit more than just the first thing you thought of as an obvious statement.
Yeah, Cog, what about you?
All of you to assume that my dialogue isn't bland.
Bold of you to assume that Cog will allow you to see a generic line.
I mean, if you want a real answer, that's pretty much it. Just add a bunch of additionals to keep the generics from popping up as little as possible, like additional lines, targeted lines, also playing lines, hand lines. Basically, everything you can to keep things from being repetitive and basically just make it so that your characters are as diversified as possible.
SPNati, what about you?
I think it's basically what I was talking about before, with like Jane Doe syndrome. I think generic dialogue is bland when characters either like state the obvious or just they just like don't care. Like they just accept everything that comes their way, and like they're like very reactive. Like they're always focused on what's going on specifically, and they don't really assert their own opinion into it. So like they don't have their own presence on the table. They're always just reacting to things that other people do, and they're not doing anything themselves really, or they're not bringing like a unique perspective to it. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's got to be something that could really only come out of your character's mouth.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's an issue of from character to character, really. Like, I could write 100,000 cameo lines, all of them, and be entertaining. And then I'm struggling to come up with 6 good Hanako lines a day.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the pitfalls of that is that if you like the cases are all like for dialogue are all divided based on like what's going on in the game, so it's very natural to fall into this thing where you're just reacting very blandly to what's going on because you can't think of anything that generic, like something that would apply in all those situations. Like that's hard. I think Zeus had a really good quote in his interview of Mill, where he said,
I'm sorry,
why hasn't he been on the
I don't
Zeus.
know. I'm gonna get him on a podcast with Katie or Cody and maybe.
Yeah, why hasn't Zeus been on the podcast? But Zeus, in his text interview a million years ago, said that it's not really dialogue; it's monologue, because they're not responding to you unless you have targeted lines, and it's just tough. And that's the best thing I can think of is just don't focus on like constantly reporting on what's going. Oh, your clothing, good choice or something. Like try to make conversation the way strangers do with the entire table, and just introduce information about themselves really piecemeal. Like people, they have eyes; they can see what's happening. You don't need to say it.
All right. Question 4. Do you think it's important for creators to try to make characters from new franchises?
I would say absolutely. I think franchise fatigue is very much a thing. And you gotta consider if someone's already decided they don't like a franchise and you keep adding to it, they're not gonna play anything. Or at least that's my perspective. Like, for example, I don't like Danganronpa at all. So just to see people keep adding characters from that franchise, it's more than I'm not gonna play.
Nervously sweeps 2 future Danganronpa characters under rug.
I've noticed a lot of that criticism on the 4chan Echo threads recently. I don't know if it's just one guy complaining about it but I mean it's hard to know on 4chan. But yeah, there's definitely people that are complaining about franchise fatigue and just like the same few franchises over and over again. I mean, we have Joe. We have, yet another Ruby, Fire Emblem, Persona, Danganronpa character. But, and I said in that thread that it's just like, well, that's what people want to make, and that's, like, if they're the ones that are putting all the effort into making characters, then they get to decide who's in the game. So I don't think they should be forced to not keep adding to those franchises. I would definitely implore them to consider making something from another franchise.
Yeah, I would say it's not a bad idea, it's just kind of risky, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Cog, what are your thoughts on it?
I think there's a bit of a stigma with adding characters from established franchises, and I think that's kind of unfair to the characters themselves. Like, I think the characters should be judged on who they are and not where they're from. Like, I wouldn't have made Coco if she was overwhelmingly bashed because, she was not a Ruby character. But she's drastically different from, say, Team Ruby. And Largel, who's another Fire Emblem character, she's vastly different from the Korans, or from Setsuna, or from Rinka. There's
there's appeal for each character individually, and I don't think people should be shamed for having passion for these characters. They should be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that as more characters from like franchise fatigue has always been here. Like very early on, we had the 4 characters from Studio.
And those were all just made by one insane man.
Yeah. And then like the Ruby girls were all also added very early on. I think that if a character is part of a franchise that's got a lot of representation, they will have to they will obviously have to prove that they have a place here along with a bajillion other characters from their franchise. But
yeah, I do think they should be held to a little bit higher scrutiny the more you add.
But that being said, I feel like characters that are from a franchise that has literally 8, like for Coco, a perfect example. There are 8 other rubies in that game, but Coco is the only one that has passed modern sponsorship. She's just that good. Yes, we've seen rubies before, but this one's really, really, really good, so it's fine. That said, I do like seeing characters from franchises because that opens up a door to to lots of new kind of stuff.
Yeah, like it introduces you to a new franchise that you could possibly check out later.
Or it just brings in fans because they finally have their franchise represented.
That too.
And they finally see someone that they recognize.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think it's definitely healthier for the game to focus on characters from different sources because, like, okay, yeah, you can make all the Ruby girls or whatever, and they can all talk to each other, but I don't know. That just kind of feels like fan fiction to me. Like the fun of the game should be a crossover. It should be characters of different sources meeting each other, not everyone from the same source all getting together to play this game that they'd never play together. That's why I kind of regret making Jura a little bit, just because I think she and Maya kind of follow the same, they do the same shtick basically. Even though I like both of them.
That said, I do feel like it is slightly different for games like Final Fantasy or Fire Emblem, where it's technically the same franchise, but these characters also don't know each other. So it's a little bit different from something like Ruby, where all the do know each other.
I will say I consider myself a pretty decent. I've avoided this pretty decently. Sort of Mei and Jura from the same obscure thing, but Revi's like the only representative of her franchise, and it revamped her, and Ryuko's the only representative of Kill la Kill and stuff like that. And Fubuki would be the only representative of One Punch Man, but that's just an idea.
Right.
So I'd like to think that I'm branching out a little bit.
Yeah, but
trying to cover different bases.
You also do your best to limit how many characters you make. You want to keep it small, keep it in the family. Question 5. Would you say that SPNati is currently at the height of its prosperity and influence, or does its golden age lie some point in the past?
I would say it's definitely at its height right now. Like, considering all the creation tools we have, like all the functions that, like the new functions like saying marker, saying text, which I really love that feature, target status, not to mention the offline Kisakai updates, and of course the new characters that have come along from new creators and whatnot. It's definitely at its height.
Yeah, I think it's pretty naive to say that like the old ways were better. Like I think you definitely couldn't say that before like the character editor and stuff, because almost all of those characters from that era are like gone now because they're all bad. So they're just just very static, and they really don't have as many lines as what's really expected now and stuff like that, and the art's kind of defaulty. Like, I remember when Hermione was like the best character, and now she's like not even in the discussion of like average characters anymore. Like, she used to be on the front page, and the standards of quality have just gone up so much since then. I don't think there's been any like particularly really bad addition to the game recently, like in terms of how it functions and stuff. Like, maybe you want to see like, oh, this or that person in the community, I wish they were still around, or I wish the mood of the community was a little different. But that's not the game, that's just the people working on it. I think it's definitely improved. I mean, the game used to like run incredibly slowly and chug, and we haven't had to deal with that for almost a year.
Alright. Cog, what about you? You've been here from day one.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that we're at its height right now. Like, even comparing now to this time last year, there's no contest that the tools and characters we have now are leagues beyond what we had then. Like, the community has been great. All of our recent advances in the game structure and the character editor and ice skills, they're all getting better continuously, and they're only going to keep getting better. And so I really don't see how anyone could say, non-jokingly, that we hit our peak long ago.
Yeah, I agree. We're definitely at the height of our quality. The only thing that I feel like is something that's gone downhill is the amount of creators. I feel like
Yeah.
we used to have a lot more new people coming in and making characters. It feels like that's slowing down. That said, we do have people on the Discord showing up and asking for help to make characters. So it's not like it's completely stopped, but it does feel like it's starting to slow.
I think that just shows that people are more dedicated to quality assurance.
Yeah, I can definitely see how it would be a lot more intimidating to come into it and seeing how complex and detailed some of the characters are and the art, and wondering how the fuck do you do that? I've been working on this game for over a year, and I don't know how the fuck they're doing some of that stuff. So to
I
try to
can't catch
figure out
up.
all the other software, what?
I can't catch up. My
Yeah.
youthful winds have blown out.
So it's just, and I feel like that could definitely lead to some problems, because as the established developers keep making characters, they have more and more to juggle. So we're all gonna slow down. Like, we just had a period where like there was over a month without a character release.
And now there was like fucking.
So yeah, you definitely need some new blood in
here.
here, and some new opinions.
We need to get Gay Pirate to hurry up and finish Sora.
You just don't want to have it end up being a circle jerk where it's just like a few fans of like a few different series just constantly making more characters. And I think that's where a lot of those complaints come from of franchise fatigue, is that they see like this really like cliquish like developer community, and they feel like we'd hate you if you tried to join and make someone. And that's not true at all. Like, you want to make someone else, just come and make someone else.
I will help you.
It's good seeing new people. New people that actually care about the game and don't just post stupid shit. That's annoying.
Alright.
And has nothing to do with SPNati.
Next question: Have you gotten a chance to use any of the new editor features? If so, are there any special?
Does the new epilogue engine count as a new editor? That
I
shit
get-
is the bomb.
I think so. Yes.
I haven't used the new pose maker because I'm still. Can it remove sprites yet and put them in a sequence? Because that's what I'm waiting for.
I think it can. That's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give it a shot.
The editor is how I do all my work now, so I tend to try to check out all the new features. And my favorite thing is definitely the pose maker, the animation system. It can definitely help breathe new life into the game and avoid bloating characters with, like, when they want to have animations, to keep their file sizes down by not having them as GIFs. Not to point any fingers at any specific characters in general.
Kazuna.
She's a hefty girl. I think
Fuck you.
Napsu
Fuck
herself. Napsu said that Kazuna takes up two seats on the bus.
Now someone's gonna make fan art of Fat Kazuna.
You think it doesn't already exist?
I'm sure it already exists.
I'd add it to this video if I weren't a coward.
Yeah, I really need to see what the pose maker is about. I just really hate when it's like looping animation. It's so distracting when you're trying to read. It really, like, it needs to stop at some point. Like, have it loop, like, twice.
Have you never played a game with idle animations, Bananon?
I'm not fucking reading. What's happening?
Coward.
Do visual novels constantly have them, like, bounce back and forth as you're trying to read shit? No. That's distracting. Okay, everyone knows that fucking guy who puts a million GIFs into his PowerPoint and you can't read anything. It's so goddamn distracting. And you're just like, fuck you and your memes, I just want the information. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hey, Cog, remember how you mentioned that you're Mia? NMAS just announced that he's gonna retire Gwen.
Yeah, we were talking about that in DMs yesterday, and it's kind of what spurred me to decide to stop it.
Oh, fuck me. Ouch.
Pour one out for Gwen Stacy. Anyway, Cog, you have any of the new character? God, I'm so fucking sleepy. Do you have anything in the new character?
Namask let Gwen Stacy die.
Do you have anything in the new character fucking thing that you like?
I haven't gone too far into it, aside from the epilogue editor from making the Pit Natsuki epilogue, but I really like what I've seen there.
I made a tutorial on it, and then it immediately got updated, and the interface is completely different, and so it was all for naught.
I hope that's helped people. That was awesome for you to put that together.
Yeah, and now it's all worth.
Because that's what this game needs most of all, I think. Is some kind of comprehensive, like, FAQ. Like, both a document and in, like, on the front page to tell people where their favorite characters went when they get killed.
I might.
So much of that information is not obvious to the casual observer. And you sit here and wonder, how the hell do some of these characters get made? And that's what we need as a document. So being like, okay, here's how Kisuke works. You know?
I could make a video explaining that shit on Tuesday.
And I would put that together, but I don't care. I'm lazy.
Okay. Any neat features you'd like to see added to either of the SPNati Discord bots?
It's kind of a tough.
I wish there was a Fubuki bot to go along with Tatsumaki.
It's kind of a tough question when you don't really know what Discord bots can do. But I will say I saw that the Monster Hunter Discord has a bot that you can get monster information from, and I think it'd be cool if we added that feature to Tatsumaki.
Ooh, well, Tatsumaki isn't a bot unique to the server.
I think,
like that's run by someone else.
I'm
Actually, that
sure
does give me an idea.
that Viz was the one who asked this question, because he specifically said that he was going to ask a question, and then this one shows up. So I think he's asking if we want anything added to his bots.
I would like to see well, that would be good. Like add that to like SPNati Sama. She gives more information on the characters or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I wouldn't mind if you could do like a command that tells you how many lines a character has, how many of them are targeted. Just that charts feature that's in the character editor, but that built into a bot that has a command attached to it.
That's a pretty cool idea.
I'd like to see an expansion of the pairs feature, where they could show like the entire listing of your character's popularity with other characters. Maybe even some listings of, say, like trios, or how popular they are compared to certain tables that are pre-made. I think that could be fun.
I wish the bot would tell me my character's popularity.
I don't know. I think some of us would rather have that information hidden.
Oh, you mean like the play statistics?
Yes.
It's probably better we all don't know that.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm joking.
That
would make every day resort day.
When every day is resort day.
I think he only generates the play statistics like once every few months, so it's really not that common anyway.
Alright, the next question is, how do you think you have improved when you first started developing for SPNati, and what do you think has helped you improve the most? LeCoin, why don't you start us off?
I think I definitely improved in a lot of regards, like modeling and posing and dialogue. And it's the cause for that is definitely feedback and asking for advice from people. Like I am a slow person. Like it takes me an eternity to come to conclusions on my own. So I need people to tell me, hey, here's what's wrong, and here's how you fix it. Like Ayala's recent update wouldn't have changed as much of a personality as it did if it weren't for feedback.
All right, Cog, what about you?
I definitely think I've improved in a bunch of areas. Like you can still see my first work in the game. All right, so back to what I was saying. You can see my earliest model work for the game if you play Amy's epilogue. My old Mia model is still in there. It has been updated. But if you compare that to like the recent Pit update, I think my modeling skills have improved a lot over the few years I've been working on it. And my dialogue skills have gotten a lot better too, I think. When I launched Mia, she had like 300 lines and barely any of them were targeted. And I think back then she had a bit of Jane Doe syndrome.
Did targeted lines exist when Mia came out?
Barely. Like, I think at the time, very few characters used it. But now you look and I'm making characters that have hundreds upon hundreds of targeted lines, and I'm not sure they'd say they have like flavor to them, but
I think they're a lot better than they used to be.
All right. What about you, SPNati?
Well, I think I've been slow to actually implement this. I think I've definitely been of some of what Kisake is capable of. I thought originally that was an incredibly limited program, and seeing what some people have put together, it's clearly not. I think ever since Amalia came out, I really gained an appreciation for what you could do with it. So I've just tried to slowly improve my artwork that way, and I definitely like to try my hand at that with improving Mei and Jura's art. And I think my Fubuki model has come out pretty decently, and I made some good stuff with Ryuko's posing. So I've definitely explored it a bit more. I also think I've gotten better at making interesting generic dialogue, which I think Revi helped me really get a sense of. Just because Revi's pretty easy to write, honestly. So yeah, just a better sense of like, no, that's boring. I shouldn't do that. You know, like if you're bored writing the line, then someone's going to be bored reading it. You know, like you have to make yourself laugh or make yourself interested with your own lines. I think I just got a good sense of that. So I'm really happy that I took on like the Revi rework project. I think that really helped me develop. Because like I worked on her model too, like improving her model. So I learned a lot about Kisake that way. So I think that's what helped me improve.
I think I've improved in virtually that you can possibly improve. If you look at Rinka version 1, enter model, enter epilogue, enter dialogue, and you compare it to the dialogue of Kamina now, or the fact that I'm now able to create a fucking car, or Rinka's new epilogue, I've improved in just about every manner possible. That being said, that's not very difficult to do, given how just absolutely abysmal I was at everything when I first started out. As for how I was able, it would probably just be because the community was very patient and kind to me, and they helped me figure shit out.
Well, that's what I said. I don't know if I said this over the podcast, but when you first joined, I was like, "Oh, this is the guy who made Rinka." Just like the worst Fire Emblem character.
Yeah.
But then you were like super cool and really happy to learn and improve. Now you're like way better than I ever was at Kisake, since you keep challenging yourself.
Yep. And one of these days, I'm gonna be a threat to your writing skills. Bet on it.
Okay. It's not a zero-sum game here.
I will be the one to set your heart free true. Something Knuckles, that's in you. I'm very tired right now.
Knuckles for SPNati?
I might.
He could take. Okay, he has gloves. He has his Lego shoes. I think we literally had the same conversation before.
But can
he has sunglasses and his shovel claws.
Can we make him have the spike dick?
No.
That's all for nothing.
Why wasn't Knuckles in April Fools? Maybe next year.
Next question is, what do you think of Fast Pass? Blue coin?
I wasn't there when people were talking about it, so I don't fully know what it is, but just off of inferences and of course what we talked about here, it does sound pretty good. I think it's a good change.
All right.
You know what I just realized is that blue coin sounds a lot like underscore.
One of these days, I'll have him and underscore on the same.
You won't know which one's
Oh
talking.
no.
I'll just make one of them speaking a chipmunk's accent through editing.
Just have underscore pretend he's Bluecoin, and Bluecoin pretend is. See how long it takes for them to make a mistake.
Cog. So, what do you think? What was the question again? What do you
Fast
think
pass
of the new
system.
fast
System.
pass?
I don't think it's really fair for me to answer this since I was one of the ones who helped develop it.
Well, are you happy with how it's been used so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty effective in its purpose, and all the recent art reworks lately, it's going to be, I think, an overall net gain for the community at large.
All right. What about you, Spinanon?
I think we talked about this in the beginning, but yeah, like it literally existed just to stop like a specific trend of shitty art reworks that we were getting because it was not the original artist. And pretty much everything since then has just been like universally good. Where it's just like, of course they're gonna get the fast pass. They don't need to go on testing. Like it's the same shit. But obviously they're gonna do a good job. They've been doing a good job this entire time. They're established artists. So yeah, I think it's good to just cut the bullshit because they didn't need to be responsored in the first place. And the way sponsorship is now, nobody wants to write a sponsorship because it takes too damn long. So more power to this.
I'm a fan of democracy and just being
I
able
love
to.
democracy.
I do. God damn it! I'm an American, and I love it. And I'm glad that we can vote on shit. Just any problem can be solved by letting people vote on shit.
Well, not every problem.
Well, are you sure about that? Let's vote on it.
Ask the Brexit people.
Okay. Alright.
Not the kind of shit you let people vote on. Hot, spicy political takes. Moving on.
Who's your SPNati rival?
Well,
You? What about you?
I've always considered it you, Johan. Like, we kind of have the same amount of characters, and we can seem to put out characters at about the same pace. So it feels like to me it's like a race to see who can put out the most characters.
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at our name, and like, that's very true.
used to be Andrew, the crown holder. I
Oh,
think now it's the mask.
Yep.
For most characters made.
Dr. Enmas. Or is Dr. Jekyll the good guy or the bad guy?
Dr. Jekyll's the good guy.
Dr. Enmas and Mr. Andrew.
No, it was Mr. Crown.
There's a second secret.
Darkly.
A second secret, second identity.
Mask drinker name. Away. Among other sins, such as Gay Spaghetti Chef.
I'm honored that you see me as your rival, Blue Coin. I'll make sure that I don't fail you. Cog, what about you?
That's difficult for me to answer because I'm sort of in this weird field by myself where not many people are like around my skill level, good or bad.
So I don't really know a good way to answer this.
Alright. Spin that on. How about you?
Well, kind of going off what I said before about how I think I've kind of dipped into franchises that aren't well represented and don't have like legions of fans within the community. Like, yeah, I made 2 Android characters, but I'm the only one who gives a fuck about them. So, and then Black Lagoon and Kill and these sources that don't have any representation. It's not like Danganronpa or Fire Emblem. I haven't really worked too much with other creators, so I don't think, like... I think I've just been kind of doing my own thing for a long time. And, you know, it's nice to get support for that, but I don't think I've really worked closely with any other creators, so it's hard to develop those kinds of development relationships. I don't think I really have those. So I don't think I really have a rival in that sense. Or something like someone who's been doing a lot of the same stuff that I have, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't have these big collabs. I've never been really working to make something happen. Closest thing was just like a model donation that Ryuko was.
Oh god, I'm fucking going. I actually have a rival. Halo and I declared each other that we were rivals about like a couple months ago, because we were like, we both thought like we both actively said, "What the fuck? No, dude, you're way better than me at Kisuke," and then I was like, "No, you're way better than me." He was like, "No, you're way better than me," and then we're just like, "All right, fuck it, we're rivals." I said, "Okay, you know what? Fuck it, we're rivals now. We're just gonna keep trying to one up each other and be better than the other guy." And that was that. And now we're at least Kisuke rivals.
Do you share like a common interest?
Persona.
Question mark.
No, we both do, but that's not it. The thing is, we're both striving to be the best that we can be in terms of at least modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a race to see which of us gets better. And I'm not even sure if like which of us is actually better. I still think he's better than me in terms of getting models more accurate, but I'm able to make more batshit crazy things like fucking cars. What character role does each person on the podcast play? Thief, wizard, warrior, cleric, tank, DPS, heals, etc.
Is this like specifically for MOBAs or shit? Because I don't play those.
I don't know. Just whatever you want. I guess what class? What
I'd
class?
probably be a warrior. I just like smashing shit. Probably a monk.
In TF2, so probably a healer.
I always like playing more of the tanky roles.
I always enjoyed playing like a heavy or soldier or something in TF2.
In any game where I
guess that a tank.
In any game where I can use magic, I will fucking use magic. Because let me tell you something. Magic is the best. It gives you the ability to handle any situation any way you want it. And in at least D&D, if you're a magic user, you can get time stop. And time stop is the best power because you cannot deal with somebody who can stop time unless you can stop time better.
So, are you firmly on the dex side of dex versus strength?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, one time I played a game of I did play through Final Fantasy War Warriors. Do any of you have context for that?
I do not.
Oh yeah, well you can pick your classes in that game, and the 4 warriors is just you running across the continent, punching everything, and just smashing shit, and you have no magic, and it's surprisingly effective.
I can respect that. I can respect the just solving your problems by fucking punching them in the face. I'd rather freeze time and then blast them in the face with 1,000,000 fireballs within the frozen time.
Here we go. I have a picture summing it up.
Huh?
There you go. Put it in chat.
Oh, okay. I'll be sure to add that in the video.
Balls to the wall.
I still only got one L.
Well, it's because you can only have
Oh.
4 letters in your name.
Oh. So rather than balls to the wall, it's balls. What's your favorite Western show? Is there a character worth adding to SPNati in there? And I don't think they mean Western as in like cowboys and draws and yeah.
I think they mean Western animation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'd say like Seinfeld. I don't want to see any Seinfeld characters. Even though we have a few of those models.
Yes, we do. Blue, what about you?
Now, I'm very fond of a show called OKKO.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
It's Heroes?
Yeah. So it's basically My Hero Academia, but instead of a school, it's a convenience store.
That sounds pretty cute.
And it's got good pacing, a good balance between action and comedy, great characters, and an interesting setting of everyone being superheroes. If you guys remember Dynamite Watkins, one of the characters I was working on, this is the show she's from. So needless to say, yeah, there are characters worth adding from this series.
Okay, Cog, what about you?
It's been like 10 years since I've watched it, but my favorite Western animation show was always Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I think some characters from that would be good. Like, you could add, like, Tara or Toph. And even on the male side, you have, like, Sokka and Zuko. And
Zuko to get our bacon table.
Wow, nobody said Ruby?
Huh?
Nobody said Ruby for this question? It's so well represented.
Well, clearly it's an anime.
Well,
Right, it's an American anime.
no, but like even that, like Ruby isn't my favorite Western show. Like not even in my top 3, probably.
Maybe I'll give it to Corey in the house.
My absolute favorite one of all time is Wok Fu, and that's what Amalia is from. And there's
That seems like the most boner-inducing.
well, the French have very little concept of shame, I guess, because they have an episode where you can straight up see her nipples when she's going into a bathhouse.
That's what I mean, is that the French animation is like the closest Western it's like kind of like Japanese animation in that it's for perverts.
Yes, anyway, there's so many good characters in Wok Fu. There's Evangeline, and she's a cute blonde elf girl with a bow and arrow. And there's her sister. She has a twin who's even older and hotter, and she's got a crossbow. So good! And then there's characters that are not suited for the game at all, like Noxamillion Clockson, and he's a clockmaker, and he kills people for time. He steals souls for time. It's the best. God damn it, I love Wok Fu so much.
It reminds me of that the villain from the superhero movie, like the movie literally called Superhero Movie, where he drains people's life to add to his own life.
I'm not going to spoil it because I want everybody to watch it. But the villain from season 1 is the best villain I've ever seen in any form of storytelling. To the point where almost everybody who watches it, if they're not actively rooting for him towards the end, they at least feel bad for him. Anyway,
That doesn't necessarily make someone a good villain.
I feel like a good villain should be a villain with their own morals, their own beliefs that make sense to the character, that set them up in contrast to get in the way of the protagonist. And
Yeah,
that doesn't mean they have to be bad and insane evil, and that doesn't mean they have to be a noble demon. It just means that they have to have their own set of beliefs that make sense to them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like my history professor said, no one wakes up and goes, I feel like being evil today.
Absolutely.
No, there's definitely some people that do.
Well, like, everyone's the hero of their own story, is the other half of that quote.
In another...
I don't think they all need to be sympathetic.
In another universe, the main villain of Wakfu could be the hero. And that's... But it's not. He's like Shakespearean villain, and it's the fucking best. God damn, I could talk for hours. Sleep deprived as fuck, but I could talk for hours.
I think as long as they provide an interesting contrast to the protagonist, then they're a good villain. If they challenge the protagonist and their beliefs in some way, I don't think that means they have to be sympathetic.
They absolutely do. He challenges the protagonist. Like, even in season 3, the main protagonist is still thinking back to the main villain of season 1, thinking, I wonder how things could have gone differently. That's fucking good. Which helped fund the English dub, which is not as good as the original French, but what can you do? The last part for tonight.
Wait, I have a question before we have a.
Wait, we've got one more.
Since you're a mod, Cog, what is the resort methodology going to be the same as last?
We're still trying to decide that, but as it currently stands, it's probably going to be more or less similar to what happened in December.
You cut out.
In December, he said.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Last question. What's your favorite part of making a character?
I would say it's definitely fruition. Being able to see everything come together and function how you intended it to. But that.
Oh god, that's such a better answer than what I had.
Tits. But
I was gonna say posing, because that's when you really get to. When you're posing, you get to like start really thinking of what lines have go with the poses. Cog, what about you?
Well, it's no surprise I'm a fan of target lines. What drew me to the original Poker Night: The Inventory was the dynamics between the 4 different crossovers, and that same logic applies to how I write my characters. I love to see how they interact with the people around them.
All right. And with that being said,
what about me?
I thought you said it was the butts.
No, I was just guessing what you thought.
I'm sorry, you just cut out for me.
I was guessing what you thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm half asleep right now. What's your favorite?
I think you're more than half asleep. You're like 75% asleep.
I'm dying.
Why didn't you just get some sleep? I told you to get some sleep.
I don't know. I had like 3 hours.
You made it to the podcast, but at what cost?
Sleep. Sleep, I guess.
This shit's gonna catch up to you in 2 years.
And that's not my problem. That's future Joe's problem.
Whatever. I just like mostly finishing generic dialogue on a character, and you never want to you never want to fully finished because there's always stuff you can add. But just getting to the point where you have like a really strong foundation and you can take them in so many different directions after that. I think it's targeted lines when you really start to get a good sense of their character and it stops feeling so awkward because they're finally talking about something specific. And it can be hard to find their voice with just generic stuff. So like finally breaking through that and getting to a point where you can start getting more specific. I think that's when a project really comes into its own.
All right. With that being said, does anybody here have anything else to add?
Nope.
Are you gonna sleep after this?
Maybe. I actually have to download this episode and get started on editing.
Just take a nap while it's downloaded.
Okay, I'll do that.
You told me you were gonna sleep after this.
I told you I was gonna nap after.
It's still
Sleep.
sleeping.
All right.
Naps are a gamble.
Well, thank you guys for being on. It was nice to have you guys again.
Yet another
Thanks for having
3-hour podcast?
Nope, not this time.
Not quite.
Yeah, a little under. All right, thanks, Cog. Thanks, Blue.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Thanks, Ben, for showing up on time.
As usual.
And thanks for listening. You'll see you in the next one.
And
Bye-bye.
thank you, Johan.
No problem.